jotakin puutilaa keksiä. Eikö me voida pottumpia rahaa mussuttaa?
Kyllä.
Oli hyvä.
We are live.
Live. Eläviä.
Yes, I don't think there's anybody online yet, so we'll wait for a second.
Paitsi Sally.
Sally, hello. Greetings to Australia. And then we'll set up Instagram.
Might actually be warmer here now.
It is. Such a nice warm morning. I wonder if I can get this here. Switch it. I think we can kind of fit it there. There we go. We are live also on Instagram.
Never been there.
Never ever?
Never ever.
Right, that's a first. And we have some audience from Poland as well joining in. Welcome, welcome. Tervetuloa.
Polish truckers taught me some Polish words, but I'm not able to tell them here.
We will focus on Finnish language because we have international audience, and we will be talking in English. We will wait for just a moment. Enjoy a bit of coffee. If you don't have your cup of coffee yet, I recommend that you grab yourself something because you might start feeling like something good while you hear all the stories about Finnish coffee culture today with us. Today, I am interviewing Aunola from Helsingin Kahvipaahtimo.
Hello all.
Hello, hello. Greetings to Germany as well. Greetings to Warsaw. Yes, Aki speaks really good German, I hear. So if you have questions in German as well, feel free to drop those in.
Natürlich spreche ich Deutsch.
Naturally. All Finnish
Aber das
people.
Verstehen kann ein bisschen problematisch sein.
Aber ich verstehe ganz gut, aber ich spreche nicht so gut. So we're all good. Cool.
So you are the police who can write and I'm the one who can read.
Exactly.
How does it go?
Exactly, this is the way it goes. I see people on Instagram joining as well. So welcome to everybody. I think we can get started. If you have any questions at any point, don't hesitate to drop those questions on the chat box. We'll get back to you. If not during the live interview, then I will ask Aki later and I will reply to you, type in the answers. Today we are here in Helsinki. And this is Teurastamo area, which is an old. There used to be an abattoir, like a butcher place here.
It's an old butchery, yes.
Exactly.
So the roastery is in a place where you would polish the pig's blood with a hose or something like that.
Yeah, but that's not happening here anymore.
No.
I hope. Yes. So nowadays there's this beautiful cafe. I can show you around a little bit, which is empty at the moment because it's Wednesday morning and due to this special situation in the world at the moment, obviously.
So we have to kick all the customers out, which is not a good thing. But for some reason, they keep coming back.
Yeah, I wonder if you have some good coffee.
We might.
That might be the reason. Cool. But yes, could you please first briefly introduce yourself? What do you do here at Helsingin Kahvipaahtimo, Helsinki Coffee Roasters, and how did you end up here?
I have no idea. But yeah, I'm Aki, and my job here is to run the coffee roastery and the cafes, together with all the other people we have here. We are in total about 10, 15 people, depending on how you count it. My own background is actually in trading vegetables. So I've done international vegetable trading for more than 10 years. And a few years ago, me and the founder of this coffee roastery and cafes, we decided to start doing things together. Because in the both businesses that we were in, you see the injustice and how much bullshit there is in the international trade. We decided we have to do something. So we decided that we are going to make a startup and try and make a platform for trading coffee, which was of course a little bit more difficult than expected. And at the same time, there was a huge amount of work to do here at the roastery and the cafes. So we actually decided that we are going to do this together. So now I'm here running the roastery together with Benjamin, who is the founder.
Oh yeah. And how long has this coffee roastery been in business?
Helsingin Kahvipaahtimo was founded in 2011, but actually it dates back a long time before that, because Benjamin also founded Kaffa Roastery, which is still the biggest specialty coffee roaster in Finland. They split their ways in 2010, and then Benjamin started this company.
Okay.
And his own background in coffee goes even further down to the 90s, where he actually tells the story about calling Pauli, the biggest coffee manufacturer in Finland, about the coffee. They had a hotline printed in a coffee bag. He called there and received basically no answers to any questions, and he decided, oh shit, I have to do this myself. And that was the beginning of everything.
Okay.
Somewhere around 1990, 1995. I can't even remember that far.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know Paulik, it's definitely the most well-known coffee roaster in Finland. And if you go to any office where people work normally, when they actually can go to the office, you will find a lot of Paulik coffee. Everybody drinks filter coffee. And that's actually one of the things that I think Finland is kind of special about, is we drink a lot of coffee and we drink a lot of filter coffee. But here in your cafe, do you mostly serve specialty coffees like espresso-based?
Oh, it's filter coffee here too.
Okay.
I don't know the exact percentages, but in Finland, 80 to 90% of coffee is filter coffee. I don't know the real reason behind that, but of course, we Finnish people, we tend to want to keep our money to ourselves, and paying 3-4 euros for a very small amount of coffee probably just sounds too much.
Even though it's stronger coffee, and then you can mix it up with some foam.
You need to have more.
Yes.
More is always more.
And a lot of Finnish people, at least when I have lived in abroad, I've had my friends visiting over, and they go to a cafe, and then they order black coffee. And here you get filtered coffee. That's in Finland, that's the standard. Black coffee is filtered coffee. But at least, for example, in Ireland, people were like, do you mean like Americano, like espresso with water, or what do you mean? But so here
it is most definitely filter coffee here, and even more, it is almost always pretty light roasted. Of course, nowadays you also have darker roasts, but traditionally Finland has been consuming light roasts. For example, Juhlamokko, which is the great product from Pauli, the biggest selling coffee in Finland. It is a very light roast. The reason behind that is that in Finland you have the lightest or softest water in the world. You don't really need to roast that dark to get flavors out of your coffee. So there's a pretty logical traditional reason for doing light roasts.
Light roast, yeah. And you mentioned that nowadays people start drinking more like darker roasts. It's kind of a trend. Are there any other trends that you've seen within the past almost 10 years that you've been doing this?
Well, the trends are like people are getting more and more used to buying and trying new stuff. So for example, let's take 10 years ago, cold brew would have been like, what? Cold coffee. I want my lemonade.
Yeah.
With carbon dioxide. But nowadays it's completely okay to try cold brew. Last summer we had cold brew coffee. It was called coffee tonic. So mixed with tonic water. That was great. I actually want to have that again.
Sounds a little bit strange, but it might be
It's
good.
actually very good. Tonic water and coffee and a huge block size of ice.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else. That's just great. The only problem is that if you, again, because you are Finnish, you want to have a large amount of stuff.
Of course.
And you have a lot of cold brew, you will not be able to sleep the next night.
Yeah. But that actually gave me
Greetings to Denmark.
Denmark, yes. Hello.
I'm not even going to now imitate Danish language here. So.
Yeah, we in Finland we do speak Swedish, but Danish is a little bit tricky for us, I think. It's similar to Swedish, but tricky.
Same, but so different.
Yes. Yes, I also wanted to ask you, what's your specialty here at Helsingin Kahvipaahtimo? Like, how do you differ from all the other coffee companies?
It's a good question. Everybody should know what we specialize in, and actually we do also know that. A lot of let me explain a little bit broader. A lot of specialty companies, they concentrate on making weird coffees, coffees for hipsters, coffees for people who are so deep into coffee that they know the farmers by name and they have hugged them. Our philosophy is to make coffee that is drinkable for everybody. So if you take a 250 gram bag of coffee from that shelf over there, you can give it to your grandmother and she all knows that this tastes like coffee.
Yeah.
So we do great coffee that is accessible to everybody. If you want to talk about SCA points, we can do that. Those are high, but they are still drinkable.
I don't know what it is.
Doesn't taste like cow's dung or anything. Actually, I do like the cow's dung tasting coffee.
The what?
Cow shit.
Okay.
It's not bullshit, but it tastes like cow shit.
Okay.
That was my first impression when I tasted a special Kenyan coffee. It was like, I recognize this taste as a smell from the farms, but when you get used to it, it's actually very good.
Interesting. I think taste is a thing that should not be debated over. Like everybody likes different things. For example, I like really fruity coffee, a little bit more sweet. And then my fiance, he likes exactly the opposite, like super dark roasted, dark chocolate notes and all that stuff. But we still both love coffee in general. And it feels like you have different sorts of coffees, but what would be like the best seller? Do you have?
Our best seller is the number 3, which even by the name of it implies that it's somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
And this is a good starting point. So for many people, light roasts are too light when it comes to specialty coffee. Dark roasts might be like too dark. Well, that's a good starting point. Then you can adjust. Okay, I want to do something that is lighter. I'll take number 2, or I'll take the Sesonki special. If I want something darker, I'll go for the Bullies or Hutas or number 4s. Even if I'm feeling very, very dangerous, taking risks, I want to take 50-60, which is that's an inside joke behind the name. All the Finnish people.
Long story.
It's too long a story, but it is like 50-60 Arabica, 50-60 Robusta, somewhere around there, 50-50. Usually specialty coffee roasters do not use a lot of Robusta, but good Robusta is good coffee. And
so
it
you
gives
mean
a very
Robusta and Arabica are the 2 biggest bean sorts? Or how do you call
varieties.
them? Varieties, yeah.
I don't know the exact words. How should you describe? Because within Arabica you have a lot of different coffee varieties again. Those are the 2 strains of coffee.
Yes. And I have the impression that you focus on like sustainable and responsible coffee production.
Yeah, to the extent that a small roaster actually can do that, but because we actually know how to export or actually import directly from the producing countries, then we are doing that. For example, in January we received 1 full container of coffee from Brazil that was bought directly from the farmers. We think that that is a very important thing, but not just because you can use it in marketing and say that, okay, I'm buying directly, I'm hugging the farmers, but it is just fair. If it is possible to buy directly and the intermediaries do not have any value there, why not? It's better money for the farmer, it's better prices for us too. But in many cases, it's much better to use the intermediaries. So for example, when sourcing from Ethiopia, we don't have the capability of buying directly. So we are buying from intermediaries who are doing a great job in finding the right coffees and knowing the quality. And they do the logistics and they take the risks of financing the purchase and everything.
And you can't be specialists everywhere. Like there's only a limited number of you guys, so you need to have partners that you trust.
Buying coffee directly is a huge amount of work. And then you are in the jungle of certifications also. You have to handle those. For example, the coffee container that we received was fair trade or is fair trade certified. Many coffees are not certified, but they are still equally good.
Yeah. Do you have any like pro tips for the people out there if they want to somehow figure out if the coffee they're about to buy is responsibly and sustainably produced? Like there's those certificates. Are there like fair trade is one of them? Is there any other kind of well-known?
Yeah, fair trade, Rainforest Alliance and UTC, or the Rainforest Alliance and UTC actually merged, so they will be just, I think, just one label that they are going to use in the future. There might be some other too. I think those are good in a sense that there must be some logic behind those. There must be some structure in order. You have to do something right to get that certificate. Those are not bulletproof. I can tell you a million stories about how people in the vegetable business have been cheating the certification system.
Let's not go to that.
That's completely another story. But basically, you can trust them.
Yeah.
And our friend in the United Nations or in the International Trade Center once told us that, guys, okay, you want to be very, very sustainable and you want to do everything right. But remember, if fair trade makes the world 1% better, it is 1% better, and it's much more than you can ever do alone as a small specialty roaster. So it makes no sense to say that.
Try to save the whole world at the same time.
They are doing a great job in their field.
Yeah. And I guess as a consumer, like if you go to a cafe, you can always ask the barista if they could tell a little bit more about the coffee. I guess, at least for me, that feels like then I know it's a nice cafe if they are happy to tell about the different styles of coffee and everything. They might not have any labels like saying this is what we do and this is how we do it, but if you ask the baristas, if they're professional baristas, often they go really deep into all the details and tell you all cool stuff. But that's something. I also wanted to ask if there's any like funky things. Do you recycle, like for example, your coffee grinds or reuse them somehow? Or
at the moment, we are still not able to do that in a larger scale.
Yeah, you're still a small operator.
It would be great to find solutions. Like here in Finland, somebody's doing sneakers out of coffee, waste coffee, which is a great idea.
These ones?
You actually have one of those?
I actually have these.
Are they like real sneakers? I've never seen those in real life.
Well, now you do.
Cool. I want one of those.
These ones are made from coffee grinds and recycled plastic bottles, basically.
So that kind of ideas are emerging, and they are great because when it comes to coffee, the waste part is like it's almost a hidden thing that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah, like they're somewhere out there.
Because it's bio waste. If you take 1 kilogram of coffee and you brew it, you are left with almost 1 kilogram of coffee still. That is now waste. Something should be done with that.
Yeah.
Of course, and then you have the water inside it because it's sucked in water, so it's actually even heavier now. You have to dry it first.
Exactly.
So it is a problem. It is a problem both environmentally and it's a problem for the cafes. You have a lot of coffee waste every single day.
You have to get rid of it. Exactly.
You have to get rid of it.
But it's cool to see that all these new innovations are coming up. Like I've heard stories about people at home using their coffee grinds to grow mushrooms in them.
Yeah,
and stuff like this, which is like amazing.
Good point. That's one way of getting rid of one part, one fraction of the waste. When you are roasting coffee, you get chaff, the very light stuff that, like, it disintegrates from the bean, from the top, very light particles. You have a huge bag of those and it wastes almost nothing.
Yeah.
But what to do with that? People are actually using those in growing fungi.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
There we go. Some cool new innovations always popping up. One more question before I think if we can go and take a sneak peek. We should probably get going in a moment.
Yeah, we can do that. It's 80 meters from here, so it takes 2 minutes to walk.
And the other question I wanted to ask is this neighborhood, this area called Teurastamo. So there are a lot of cool kind of restaurants and distillery and coffee place, pizza place. And I have a feeling that kind of a community feeling, like everybody supports each other. And I see you have some hand disinfectant from the distillery, and you have the lemonades from the lemonade factory next door.
Basically, you can live here without going anywhere because our neighbors.
Do you actually live there under the table?
I could actually, yeah, because I get bread from our neighbors. Then we have coffee ourselves. Then the distillery has their bottling factory next to us. So, what else do you need actually?
Yeah.
And you get lunch also. So, this is a communal place, and for example, we received a new like sign outside of the cafe. I actually ordered that sign myself, and I ordered one for the neighbors too. And then the neighbors installed our light.
Perfect.
Money has not moved when it comes to the installation, and we help each other.
Yeah.
So I know that they helped us out in lifting it up there. I will help them out doing something else.
Exactly.
One of our coffee makers is somewhere in 5 kilometers that away because I borrowed it. So.
Awesome. That's the kind of spirit we want to see. Like when we go back to the new normal, we want to help each other. And when we actually can meet up with people, I guess there would be some like common events as well happening around here in the Aunola area.
Usually there are big events here every summer, but I think this summer it will be
this summer will
very
be.
little of those because you have the limitation of 500 people. And it's difficult to say that, okay, now you are the 501st person, do not come here. It's an open area and a lot of people will come. Even now, because these have been the first really hot days here. Hot meaning reaching 20 degrees Celsius,
yes.
And people are like flocking the place. Even from the morning until the evening, there are a lot of people here.
All right. But now, should we head over to the other? I'll show you guys. I think I will be able to manage with both devices. I have my laptop
might be the internet.
here.
You have the internet
We'll see. We'll see. If you guys on Facebook, if this breaks the connection, then tune in to Instagram, because Instagram I have my mobile data. So let's see.
Our wireless will not reach.
Let's see if I can actually. Can you hold this? And maybe you can show around the cafe for a bit. It's not filming you,
Cheers.
it's filming. Yes. Change to